Hey y'all, welcome back to Gadfly, the podcast about third parties, fringe candidates, and just generally weird American electoral history. I'm Dusty Wilson.
I'm Una O'Leary.
And we are back with the end of the trilogy of Bo Gritz. The
End
man
of trilogy.
so nice, they named him Gritz.
Oh, boo.
Now that's gonna be the episode. It's just gonna be that joke on a loop. Merry Christmas. This is my religion now.
End of the trilogy for the end of times.
Oh man, take that goodwill we've earned.
We earned goodwill.
We at least have a little, I hope.
Aww.
To summarize where we've been so far, Bo Gritz, he is a lieutenant colonel in the Army. He served in special forces of varying kinds, served during the Vietnam War, got a fuck ton of medals and commendations. After the military, he started invading Laos because he felt that there were POW and MIA soldiers there. There never were. And there weren't, and his exploits doing private raids into Laos are infamous for being just really bad and poorly done.
So bad, you guys. Go back and listen to the episodes.
Oh my god, it's delightful. 1 through 5. If we could do, I forget who we decided to cast as Bo Gritz. Oh, it was Kevin James.
That's right. Yes.
The only role I would ever give to Kevin James would be Bo Gritz, and I would have to be like, Kevin, you have to dial it back. You have to dial it back to 1. And I promise you it'll be hilarious.
Honestly, I think this would do wonders for Kevin. Like it could just toe the line of redemptive movie, kind of the way that like watching Minority Report made me remember that like, oh my God, Tom Cruise is a really good actor.
Yeah, he's actually very stellar.
Yeah, and it's like I'm forgetting all of the Scientology bullshit around him. I feel like we give this to Kevin James, everyone's something like Paul Blart, what? That was just the early 2000s were a weird time for everyone.
Yeah. Look, we all need to survive, and we all need a home to live in. That explains Paul Blart Mall Cop 1. Like Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, I mean, look, I'm glad the McElroys get to do oh my god, a Thanksgiving tradition where they watch that movie every year on Thanksgiving for the rest of time. I'm glad they get to do that. It's a horrific experience, and I'm glad they're the ones who do it.
That sounds like a horrific experience that you would enter into agreement upon.
I mean, if asked, I probably would. Would I purposely do that on my own? No, I have no reason to do that as of right now.
Maybe not Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Okay, yeah, if we're opening it up to other movies, yeah, there's some evangelical end times exploitation film that I would put in that list. That would be like an Easter tradition, and I already do that with all the Christmas Prince movies anyway. Yes. So here we are.
That's the heart of what I was getting at, are the Christmas Prince movies.
The classic film series. I love them. Anyway. So Bo decides he is going to start running for office. He runs for Congress in 1988, hires his conspiracy friend referred to as a complete screwball to run his campaign, and it all fell apart.
And this was the conspiracy theory. This was like OG conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, like JFK conspiracy theorist daddy is just like, you are fucking this up. Yeah, stuff. And during this time, Bo has gone full conspiracy theory. He's gone to the conspiracy buffet, and he's taken one of everything, except for one thing that we're going to talk about later. There is one conspiracy that he is not a fan of. And
love a line drawn in the sand.
It's such a weird line too for what he decides to do with his life.
Good.
Bo does temporarily run as vice president for the Populist Party, which is a party founded by white nationalists for white nationalists. And he ends up dropping out because they endorsed David Duke for president. And it took a little bit, but eventually Bo was like, oh, now I know who David Duke is. I don't want to do this.
Yeah. So you know what, Kevin James, there's so many redemptive arcs in this movie that we're gonna have for you.
Oh my god!
Please call us.
Yeah, look, if we get a call from Kevin James, I both won't believe it, and I feel like I'd be horribly cruel just because I don't believe it's him.
That's fair.
But this leads us to 1992, the year in which I would almost call this Bo's post-military career high point, because this is the year in which Bo decides he is going to full on run for president of the United States of America.
Yes. No half-assing it.
So much of what I found with this particular run comes from an article from the San Diego Reader by Adam Parfrey entitled A Revolution of Small Guns. Now, this is in reference to a sweet grandmother who refers to herself as a Gritz granny who lives in San Diego. And she, during the earlier part of the article, Adam Parfrey shows up to a rally that this grandma is throwing. And when he gets there, he finds out he's the only one who showed. And he starts asking, like, when's everyone else showing up here? She's like, well, we don't have any advertising or anything. This is a revolution of small guns. And since we don't have the money to be able to put out any sort of newsletters or any sort of announcement, it's all word of mouth. So you do what you got to do. And eventually a few other people showed up, but it was one of those things where it's like, oh, the media is here for you. They're trying to help, sort of. So this time around, Bo wouldn't get a call from Willis Carto to run for vice president. And as a bit of a reminder, Willis Carto is a full-on Nazi, and he was the Nazi who founded the Populist Party to begin with and convinced Bo to run for vice president in 1988. But instead, Bo would get a call from Populist Party chairman Don Wassail to be their presidential nominee. Now, Bo insists that he hadn't even considered running for president prior to the call, which I do believe. And it had been assumed that former governor of Arizona Evan Meacham was actually the candidate that the Populist Party was most likely to court. And now, anytime a third party can wrangle a current or former politician to run under their banner for president, it always is a hell of a win. Just look at Gary Johnson with the Libertarian Party. They end up having their best results in years in 2016 after getting him to run. And he pretty much jump-started the party in 2012, being able to run for them and to show at least some level of, I guess, institutional seriousness is a way that you could describe it. But while Evan Meacham was a former governor, he's not exactly what one would call a top-tier candidate. For starters, it didn't help that he only served as governor for 15 months. And that's because he would end up getting impeached for obstruction of justice, filing a false statement, and misuse of government funds.
Holy cow.
And despite that, he was still more well known for being the governor that tried to cancel MLK Day as a paid holiday for all state employees of Arizona in 1989.
Oh, Arizona.
I mean, pretty much everyone on both sides were like, Evan, this is a bad idea. Don't fucking do this.
Please don't do this.
And there's so much more about Evan Meacham that we could talk about, but that is a multi-part story for another day. This guy was, I would describe him as one of the more successful gadfly candidates who then just pissed away every bit of success that he got within a 15-month period.
Oh, like Icarus. He just flew too close to the sun. That hot Arizonan sun.
But it's a dry heat.
It's
It could have been fine. So despite all that, Bo still deferred to the former governor. Bo would go as far as to recommend directly to Meacham that he be the candidate, but Evan would decline, claiming that he was more interested in starting his own newspaper than running for president. They would eventually strike a deal that Bo would take the initial nomination, but once Meacham's newspaper was up and running, Bo would drop out and Evan would take his place. However, Meacham's newspaper never came to be, and Bo ended up being stuck as the nominee.
No. I was just a placeholder. No.
I had plans. I was going to take a family trip to the Wisconsin Dells.
Oh my God. This is like the political equivalent of when someone asks you to watch their laptop in a cafe and then they never return. And you're just
That's
stuck.
what crime you've just committed and not known about. That is such a good point. That's never happened to me, but it is one of my biggest fears once people
It
are at the
happens to me
bathroom for more than
all
a
the
minute.
time, Dusty, because I have resting nice face.
How many computers have you taken from this?
No, instead you're just stuck there being like, now I have to pee and I can't go because I made a promise to this stranger that I would watch their goddamn laptop while they fucked off.
I mean, that's true. You
and
can't
live
really
their life.
you can't really outsource that to someone else because, you know,
No.
yeah, one person shouldn't have to watch not just their computer, but two others. That is too much responsibility for anyone.
We should live in a society where, your laptop won't get like stolen.
So Bo would tell the Populist Party that if he was stuck being their presidential nominee, then he would have full right to create the party platform however he wished. And the Populist Party agreed. And he ended up writing what he would call the America First Coalition, which isn't really the name of a platform. It's more like a group of people. But for some fucking reason, he was just like, this is my platform, and it's called the America First Coalition. So when asked if he was aware of the racist and anti-Semitic history of that particular phrase, America First, Bo would express just pure ignorance, saying, well, I mean, I don't know about that, but I know this is about, supporting the Constitution and things like that. So Bo's year would involve him trying to get the support of other parties because the Populist Party's still kind of young. They were having trouble getting on a number of state ballots. So Bo started courting other political parties. On January 20th, he courted the U.S. Taxpayers Party, which we know today as the Constitution Party, and would end up losing really badly to Howard Phillips, the founder of the party. And by badly, I mean Bo got 4 votes, which was still good enough for second place, but it kind of speaks to how much people loved Howard Phillips in that party. The same day, he would also run for the American Independent Party in California, where he would also lose to Howard Phillips, but this time he got 8 votes. Also on the same day, he ran for the Independent Voters Party, which I believe is a party in Massachusetts, if I'm remembering right. And once again, he would also lose to Howard Phillips, but he also lost to write-in and no preference.
Oh.
Bo would finish in 4th place with 12% of the vote. But eventually, May 2nd would roll around, and he'd win the Populist Party nomination unanimously, mainly because he got stuck with it. But on the same day, he also tried to run for the American Party nomination, which he also lost again to Howard Phillips, coming 2nd out of 3rd and getting 3 votes. It was tough. You don't run against Howard Phillips. So Bo's campaign slogan is, look, it's clever as hell. I know you've heard of rule of 3, but sometimes you got a rule of 4 this shit. And the campaign slogan is God, guns, guts, and Gritz.
It's not bad.
It's not terrible. It's a lot of guttural tones, which, if you're going for the hypermasculinity, I guess that works, but it also just kind of sounds like you're getting punched with ideology.
And you are, so slogan success.
Look, you're not wrong. And the unofficial campaign song became a tune by the name of We Must Take America Back by Steve Vous. The song apparently played on a loop before a campaign stop at a Scottish Rite Masonic temple in Mission Valley, California, which, for a dude who's into conspiracy theory, it's really weird to me that he seems totally fine hanging out in a building the Masons built.
This is pure ignorance. This is what happens when you're not steeped in the world of conspiracy theories. You don't have the history and the background of conspiracy theories. You're just a dabbler in
Yeah.
conspiracy theories.
Yeah, it's a lot like, as I'm sure you're very familiar with, the rap game. If you don't respect the people who started, you can't consider yourself, a master of the craft. And if you don't know anything about the anti-Masonic movement, then you're making a fool out of yourself, Bosef. You're making a fool of yourself. So this particular song, I was able to find it on YouTube, and I repeated it at least 3 times, and I kept spacing out about 1 minute in. It's just one of those milk toast country songs that's like a G-C-D chord progression with
Love
like
it.
a little bit of E minor during the bridge for when you're getting real serious and the key change is coming up. But it's just the video itself is a mix of stock photos and Steve Vous singing in a black box studio. It is, I'm sure it cost him a lot of money, and it still looks like it cost him nothing.
No, I'll give this to them. I feel like with so many presidential candidates, they'll grab a top 40 hit of the times or of, their own background, only to be slapped with a cease and desist order. And no one thinks like, hey, why don't I just make up my own song?
It's what people used to do. You should.
Yeah,
Like
maybe,
Horace
maybe
Greeley
get some
did that shit all
royalties
the
out of
fucking
this.
time. I mean, you know what? That should be a thing from here on out. If you were running for president, you have to write your campaign song, and it
Yes.
has to play before you speak.
And
Because
now you're a job creator.
exactly,
Hire
you're a
some
job creator.
kid.
We get to see how good you think on the ball. Do you use rhyming couplets? Are you going to do something a little more avant-garde?
Yes.
Man, I want to see Jeb Bush's song that he writes.
The exclamation points are just whirling around my head thinking about it. Jeb! He's a man who's going to say, Jeb!
If you clap, he's gonna love it. Jeb!
Jeb!
Don't send him back to Florida. He sold his house and has nowhere to go.
Jeb!
All right, so Jeb, if you run for president again, that'll be $20. So Bo would claim that he could solve all of the nation's problems within 1 week if he was president. And he reiterated this at a campaign speech at the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City, Utah, where Bo would give a campaign speech to about 10,000 people. And when he was there, he stood on stage surrounded by 55 empty chairs. Now, Una, would you like to guess why he was surrounded by 55 empty chairs?
COVID?
Like, fuck off. Yes, it was, he invited COVID. So apparently, one of his campaign workers had a dream that the founding fathers really wanted to attend Bo's speech. And so Bo had them set out chairs for all 55 of them.
This is the worst Elijah remake ever with chairs. This is terrible.
I mean, a part of me has to think, all right, it's hard enough to find extra seats at any venue. Anytime I've been in a place where they're like, we need more seats, you're always going into the basement just trying to find the bottom tier chairs that you can.
And this time around, you walk in, it's like they're all claimed for like Benjamin fucking Franklin.
Look, this is John Hancock's seat. You cannot fucking sit here.
You can sit on me. It'll be fine.
Look, Ben Franklin would be totally into that.
He would be real okay with it.
Look, I'm really glad we have a multi-sexual hedonist as a founding father, and I think we need to talk more about that.
We really do. As a country, we need to focus on that way more.
Look,
than
what
our
is Ben
puritanical
Franklin not
roots.
into? A book of 3 pages. So Bo would state that he would solve world peace by, quote, personally leading Congress anywhere on the globe where they'd send our young men and women. I think if they know we were going to go first, we are going to be a very peaceful nation. And look, I get that. I get what he's saying. I liked it when I saw it for the first time in a forwarded email in 2002.
With the subject line forward colon, or rather just FW colon, FW colon, FW colon, RE colon.
And it's like, it's a funny idea,
Yeah,
and I
save our
get
tears.
it. But I mean, there's already like 20 problems that come when you have that. Like, this is the same issue of the medieval times when you would send your dukes into battle as your main knights. Like, yeah, you could do that, but all of a sudden you're gonna have to assign a new duke.
Yeah.
Like, do you
Too
think
true.
Lamar Alexander is going to be able to survive in a battle? No. I mean, for one, we're going to lose that battle repeatedly.
And you can take it even farther and point, granted this was 1992, but you could fast forward to today and realize that several representatives like went down to the border where a lot of people are literally being held in cages and still walked away the same sociopath they were when they entered.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
No, I mean, I am sure that there are some Congress folks and senators who would just constantly be pushing for war because their bloodlust needs to be slaked and it's the only legal murder they can accomplish. Like, I can totally see Marco Rubio being like, look, I don't want to declare a war, but Papa's got to rip some heads off. It's such a shame we have to declare this war, and that I by default, I now have to drink Dasani out of a skull I found.
Being mean to my interns and playing Assassin's Creed at night isn't cutting it.
You know he hates like Assassin's Creed because he always wants to play the villains.
They won't
Just once let Mark release the Marco cut, you cowards.
let him.
So Bo also stated that he would pay for the US debt in a very simple way. And what he would do is he would mint a coin for $4 trillion that said both debt of the United States paid in full on one side and in God we trust on the other. He would then walk over to the Federal Reserve and give it to them. Debt cured.
The man was so close to Bitcoin. He was almost there. He's so close.
The idea of just minting a large sum of money into a coin or a paper bill and then just giving it to whoever you owe debt to is an idea that's been floated a couple of times. And the reason that we've never done it is not because we couldn't find someone good enough to design a bill that awesome, but because it would just destroy the economy in a fucking instant.
Like two things. One, fuck you, Bo. I'll do you one better. Just go into the computer, delete, 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 enter, done.
Yeah.
No coin needed.
Yeah, you're all set.
And then
It's
secondly,
it's not like we also owe our debt to just one person.
yeah,
Like,
to
how can you
ourselves.
break a $4 trillion coin? You are going to be sitting in your office breaking hundreds for days. Not to mention that, but printing so much fucking money that hyperinflation like takes.
Oh my God.
Like then we're just wheelbarrowing our fucking dollars to buy an apple. Because it went really good for Germany, great for Zimbabwe.
Oh boy. It's
Yeah.
second point is just like I'm getting real national treasure Nicolas Cage vibes from his platform. Like we've been totally wrong with the Kevin James pursuit.
No, we're sticking with Kevin James. I'm not
Okay,
putting
okay,
Nick
okay.
Cage
I'm
in it.
just spitballing.
No,
God.
I think we can get Nick Cage in it, but I think he needs to play his friend Dr. Death, like just making poison darts and getting arrested for sending 200 pounds of explosives by plane.
Yes.
So after finishing all of America's problems in 1 week, Bo promised that after that he would travel directly to Hanoi, Vietnam, and bring back every single living American POW, despite the fact that there really weren't any more. And if they're in Vietnam, then why the fuck are you going to Laos all this time?
Yeah.
Like, is it just easier to sneak into Laos? Is that your problem?
Are we finally admitting that Vietnam is a beautiful country and maybe it's just nice to go there on vacation?
Yeah.
Just say it out loud, Bo.
Ah, that would so suck just to like be a government person if Bo in Vietnam, if Bo won. He like shows up in Hanoi and he's just like, where are the troops? And you're just like, it is 1992, sir. They are
Sure.
not here.
Have a delicious Vietnamese coffee, go to the beach. Listen, can't stress enough. Beautiful country.
Might I invite you to chill the fuck out?
Yeah.
You know, that famous Ho Chi Minh quote.
Yeah, Hakuna Matata.
And he also promised that upon returning, his Justice Department would indict Henry Kissinger for treason.
Yes, that'd be great.
Look, you had me at treason.
Yeah. I mean, war crimes might be more applicable, but
that one might actually get you a good prosecution there. You might want to set a little lower.
They got Al Capone on his taxes. Fine, whatever it takes.
So around this time, a poll had been conducted by Utah polling institution Dan Jones, and they had Bo getting 8% of the vote in the state, and as much as 12% of the vote in Utah County. And Bo would even claim that there was a TV poll in Idaho that had him in the lead with 35% of the vote. Now, it's good to remember at this time that you had three major candidates running. You had Bill Clinton, you had George Bush, and you had H. Ross Perot doing his independent run. And so the idea of Bo being able to win a state with just 35% of the vote, not completely out of the realm of possibility. The problem, though, is I cannot find this poll in which Bo speaks of.
Uh-oh.
So
it's a Bo poll.
God damn it. Where's delete? Where's delete? Delete internet. Well, you know what? I'm going to get you back on that because Bo's personal platform, not the party platform, Una, he called it the Bill of Gritz.
No!
No, if you went to a pun war with a lieutenant colonel, you are not going to win that.
How has this man lucked out so completely in what on the surface seems like just an awkward mouthfeel of a last name and yet has done wonders politically for him?
Well, and especially because it takes everything in me not to say his last name is Gritz.
Right, but you campaign in the South suddenly,
Yeah, I mean, it could work out. But no, he actually wasn't very popular in the South. But we'll move on. We'll get to that point eventually.
All right.
Now, much to my disappointment, I can't actually find a full list of the Bill of Gritz. But thanks to an article by Brooke Adams of the Deseret News, we can get a pretty good idea of everything that was included within it. So according to Adams, the Bill of Gritz included the following: a strict adherence to the Constitution, curbing the powers of the Supreme Court, which I don't think you're allowed to. I think the Constitution makes it pretty clear their powers.
Yeah.
So I love that we just have an immediate, complete negating moment.
Yeah, that we could have a record scratch right here for both of us. That'd be
Just
great.
the Constitution turning to the camera, being like, "You might have wondered how I got here." All right, part three. Eliminating foreign aid and creating a quote all-out protection of American jobs and industries. So pretty much just full tilt isolationism. The complete abolishment of the Department of Education and a strong support of homeschooling. Closing the Federal Reserve Board. Restoring the gold standard.
I mean, is it a third party without that?
Look, you kind of can't, and
Yeah.
it's one of those old timey things where it's like, yeah, I kind of get it. It's probably be good if this paper in my wallet was backed more than just by hopes and dreams. It'd be nice if I could turn it in and just be like, 1 gold, please, that I could not spend anywhere.
Yeah.
Pulling the US out of the UN, mainly because the UN, Una, just as a reminder to everyone, the UN is the evil New World Order. The United Nations is going to take over the entire world through thinly passive aggressive letters and a military force that can only be there if invited.
Listen, I get it. You see someone parking wherever they goddamn want to in New York City, and you think that they have all the power in the world. But the case is not, it's just the parking. That's it. That's the extent of their New World Order, is fucking up traffic.
So I'm going to take a moment here to tell a fun Dusty story. So years and years ago, I went to New York City with my dad, and just on a whim, we went to the UN. I don't even know why I thought of it. It was just like, oh, it's here, let's go. And so we did a tour of the UN, and we had this lovely tour guide. She was from Ghana, if I'm remembering correctly, and she was just kind of showing us around. And then we get to this big map, and it points out every country that's in the UN, which is, if I remember right, it was all but 2 countries. And this dude from Texas was just like, well, what happens if a country decides it doesn't want to do what the UN wants and just starts invading other countries and going against what the UN says? Which he just kind of looked at him and says, well, I don't think the Vatican would do that, sir. And of course, then he backed it up, was like, well, all these countries have representatives here. Do people vote for them, or do countries just decide who gets to go here? To which he said, well, some countries do vote for their UN representative, but other countries, like America, decide who gets to go here.
Yeah.
It was just like,
also, his first question is like, describe 2002 in America. That's
yeah,
talking about us
100%.
going into Iraq.
Yeah, it's a mid-Bush America. Like, for one, why did you go to the UN? Why are you here? What did you hope to achieve?
Why are you in godless liberal New York City?
Like, you came to the UN expecting to take down the Rothschilds and the New World Order, and all you found was a Ghanan tour guide who has all the liberty to say whatever she wants as long as it's factually correct and mean. As well as a bunch of rooms that clearly haven't been updated since 1954.
Oh, it's delightful.
Like, everything at the UN is falling apart. They don't have a budget for themselves.
Yeah, because we don't pay our portion of the rent.
Yep. Yeah, so
we're shitty withholding tenants.
I have a severe doubt that an organization that can't afford translators that have been produced past the year 2000 is going to start taking over the world. If they did, honestly, I'd be kind of impressed. Anyway, back to the Bill of Rights. Bo would prohibit the United States government from owning any land. So this would pretty much negate any national parks, any sort of federally protected land, all gone. Everything is now owned by the states.
Oh, no.
Along with a strict adherence to the Constitution, Bo would abolish the 16th Amendment and end all federal income tax. He would end property tax and then would close the IRS. He would end all affirmative action programs. And finally, use the United States military to end all illegal immigration. I mean, literally, his platform reads like an email. It just reads like a shitty forwarded email. But the thing that gets really shit and really awful are the social issues that kind of show up, mainly because of Bo's belief in Christian identity. And so Bo, I mean, there's really no easy way to go into this, so let's just dive in. For one, the Christian identity movement was completely against interracial marriage, which for Bo posed an interesting issue because his second wife was from China, and he had 2 children with that wife. And so someone asked Bo, like, what fucking gives, dude? And so Bo would state that he viewed his second marriage to be a complete mistake, stating that if his daughter were to come to him and say, quote, Dad, I met this person and he's from India. What do you think about our getting married? I would probably say, Melody, I'm advising against it. There's cultural problems you're getting into. I support staying within your nation, within your language, within your race, and within your religion. And to make things even kind of fuckier, he consistently referred to his daughter as Amera Asian, which, if we're breaking it down,
yeah,
her mother is Asian, which makes Bo American. So you can only be American if you're white.
Yep.
Yay. Also, that severely limits her dating abilities. If you're just like, you have to find someone who is both white and Asian. That's the only way this is going to work for you.
Yeah. I also, like, I'm guessing, obviously, he came to Christian identity well into his third wife's reign. Yeah. But I also wouldn't be surprised either if this is one of those instances where it's like good races, like a little bit of Asiaphilia mixed into Christian identity. Like, oh, well, like Chinese wife. That's not so bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is one of the weird Hitler tidbits is that he considered people from Tibet to be an equal race to Hitler's main choice. So
Er,
there's like a weird subcurrent in Nazi ideology
Yeah.
that's like, yeah, that's okay. Just don't do it again.
But again, it's just like, so that's just like your weird fetish. That's like a
Yeah.
person's fetishing.
Oh, 100 fucking percent.
And
Yeah.
now it's okay for an entire ideology.
Yeah. It's very fucked up. So another issue where Bo and the Christian identity movement shared similar views was that of the rights of LGBTQ plus people. And the movement itself made the stance very clear. All LGBTQ plus people should be put to death because that's what the Bible says they should do. And fun fact, if they're citing the book of Leviticus for that belief, then they should really note that the same book also bans shellfish, wearing clothes that are made of more than one kind of fabric, and having sex with any woman when she's having her period.
Yep.
And there are some interpretations that say you shouldn't even touch a woman when she is having her period, which, I mean, that's an awkward conversation to have at work.
Yeah. Yeah. Ha.
But lucky for us, Bo had a different view, going as far as to say that the rights of the LGBTQ plus folks deserve to be fought for just as hard. Unlucky for us, Bo would change his mind on this by the 1992 election, and his new opinion is kind of more fucked up.
No.
Quote, there are first-degree murderers that deserve to be electrocuted, and there are third-degree murderers that ought to be released. There are first-degree homosexuals who probably should be skinned alive. You find them in San Francisco making ads that say, we're going to pervert your sons and daughters. We're going to commit these atrocities. Those are the first degree. Take them out as far as I'm concerned.
This isn't a felony. What's with the first degree? It's like, what, I'm just sort of like, I'm just a little curious.
No, that's extra death. That's half death.
It's premeditated.
Oh my God. Yeah. And I can guarantee this is 100% towards the groups at the time that were protesting and saying, hey, we're people.
Yes.
We're human beings, and you
Yeah.
don't just suddenly become LGBTQ and you turn 18. So maybe we should help out the people who aren't 18 yet get through this and help them figure out who they are in a safe environment.
Yeah. And it's good to remember that in 1992 we probably had the L and the G out loud and proud.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Yeah, there were definitely only a few letters that people like on the far left were probably just like, okay, we can do these few. We'll give you the others in 10 more years. But the campaign itself, well, let's just say that Bo hasn't gotten any better at hiring better people. So
Please tell me he brought back Arrow Guy.
Oh my God.
Now as his like campaign staff.
If he made Poison Dart Guy his fucking campaign manager, I would lose my shit. That's a great edit in the movie.
Yes.
So the way Bo went about running his campaign wasn't exactly what one would call traditional, or really well thought out in any regard. So according to Bo, he wanted each state to be run by different people he would refer to as generals. Each general would be responsible for their own individual fundraising and purchasing of campaign material from the national party. Not only that, but the campaign had barely any national coordination and literally no plan on how those state generals would work together. So essentially, you run a state and you are on your fucking own.
And run by a general? Like, I feel like...
Not like a specific general, it would just be like an honorific. But if you're the campaign chair for the state of Illinois, he would refer to you as a general. And it would be up to you to raise any and all money that you would use. And then you pay the national party for your equipment to help promote the candidate.
Yeah, I love it when the people running for president are like saying the quiet parts loud and the quiet parts that are loud are like, we're going to create a banana republic in our backyard.
It's a really good example of how that pull yourself up by your bootstraps ideology does not fucking work
at all.
Because some states do fine, some states don't.
Yes.
And they kind of need help from the national party to be able to run competitive races in these other states. You fucking rube. God damn it. And so one of the fundraising tactics of the National Party was the minting of a number of commemorative coins emblazoned with Bo's face on one side, and on the other, both hemispheres of the world, and over top of them, the symbol for world trade, which I guess is a thing. The tokens were made entirely of silver, and the scrap value today would be worth around $24.
Hey.
But there is one available on eBay right now for $55 plus shipping. And for around the same amount, you could also get a silver coin of a juggling clown, a memorial coin of the 2017 storm Hurricane Irma, or a commemorative coin of Puerto Rican Gulf legend Chichi Rodriguez. The last one does cost a little bit more than Bo's coin, though, so be a crafty buyer.
Yeah, shop around.
Yeah, I am assuming by the sheer lack of these that are available to purchase online that they did not sell that many. So Bo wound up receiving his fair share of endorsements. He even got one from a newspaper, the Phoenix Liberator. I mean, sorry, did I say newspaper? Because while that may be kind of right, the Phoenix Liberator is so much more Una. You see, technically, the weekly newspaper is run by Georgios Siris Haton Aton. Georgios' full title, though, is Commander-in-Chief, Earth Project Transition, Pleiades Sector Flight Command, Intergalactic Federation Fleet. That's right, Georgios is an alien, a lizard alien that happens to be 9.5 feet tall. Also, they are a representative of what we call God, and we are creations of this particular God, and they have been producing this newspaper for the sole reason of warning us of the Jews. So
You
congrats, Bo.
travel
You got an
all this
anti-Semitic
way.
lizard alien to endorse you.
Oh my God.
It gets worse. It is about to get both better
How?
and worse. Because the thing, though, is Bo's running mate, a guy by the name of Cyril Manette, who I cannot find a single fucking thing about. I looked. And the
There's your
closest
red
I could
flag.
find was some guy who went by the nickname Buddy, and I refuse to believe that a Buddy would run for the Populist Party, so I am choosing to believe that that is not the Cyril I am looking for. Anyway,
I
so
will stand with you on this.
so Cyril convinced Bo to go to the headquarters of the Phoenix Liberator. So Bo would agree, and the two went to Kern County, California. Not just to meet the people who endorsed Bo, but to meet Giorgio, Sirius, Hatton, Aton themselves. And I think Bo summarizes the whole experience pretty well. Quote, we got to this little storefront, and Sai says, no, I just want us to verify this. Hatton himself is going to walk in and meet with us. And a person said, yes, he'll be here momentarily. I had this vision in my mind of a person in a lizard suit walking across a parking lot. But momentarily, a woman who calls herself Dharma sat down at the table and said very quickly, without any fanfare, I am present. And I thought, shoot, we got a channeling thing going on here. And yeah, so essentially they took a meeting with a fake newspaper to talk to a woman who claimed to be channeling a 9.5 foot anti Semitic lizard alien from the Pleiades. And while that's a verifiably funny story, it does point out that Bo's campaign had a real issue of attracting people who are suffering from serious mental health issues. So the San Diego Reader article notes that Bo's campaign coordinator for San Diego County was a man that believed the CIA was attempting to kill him and had shot at his home only weeks prior to the interview. Now, the San Diego Reader reporter would follow up on this with the man's wife, to which she essentially said, who the fuck told you that? No, there's a gang shooting outside of our house.
Oh my God.
And in 1992, Bo did what you do whenever you're running for president. That's right. Bo wrote himself an autobiography entitled
Yes.
Called to Serve. In his newest book, Bo would describe his history as a soldier and seemed to take a stance that he wasn't just one of the best soldiers America ever had, but he was a soldier ordained directly from God himself. Quote from the article, in Called to Serve, he claims that bullets bounced off his head. A spring miraculously appears to slake his thirst. A helicopter on crash course suddenly finds enough lift to clear Gritz and his crew from certain death.
Oh
So
boy.
our buddy Bo has developed a God complex. Always a good sign.
This is who you want for president.
Look, I want an even-headed man who speaks like an email, who believes he has the power of God, and knows at least one alien who hates the Jews.
I want his wife in, by now, her mid-20s.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Oh my Lord. I mean, they're still married, so I guess it's working.
Oh, okay. That
I mean, they're still married at this time in 1992.
okay. No spoilers.
And so it's a nice start to a book, especially when the next 100 pages end up being pure conspiracy theories. In chapters dubbed Profiles in Conspiracy, The Third World War, and One Nation Under God, Bo went about presenting his year's worth of research. He would claim the following, that he knew the real killers of JFK, and that they were former Nazis who had masterminded a coup d'etat and were currently working in a munitions factory. He stated that the US government created AIDS and released it into the public. He stated that the Jonestown Massacre was an MK Ultra CIA experiment gone wrong. And not only that, but he personally knew guys who went down there to Guyana to clean up any evidence that the CIA was even there. And of course, there was a whole chapter on the dangers of the oncoming New World Order. That's right, a worldwide government of godless Satanists who would give everyone the mark of the beast, which in the book of Revelations, this is mentioned as a tattoo or a marking that signifies that you are aligned with the Antichrist. And it's usually kind of mentioned as like, not so much that you're a gung-ho anti-Christian, but more of like people who are like, oh, I have to have this to do my daily tasks. Fuck it. It's an annoyance of convenience. I'll get this because I need to buy bread.
Amazing. It's like, yeah, it's like when you get stamped going into a nightclub and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm not
I know, like we both know I'm going to try to wash this off in 5 minutes, but sure. So the mark would get newfound fear in the 1970s when the barcode became available on commercial goods. And so many people believed that this barcode was clearly what the mark of the beast meant in Revelations.
amazing.
It's, oh my God, that's something you didn't know?
No, in fact,
Oh my
I'm
God, yeah.
realizing that's like, oh, I never thought about when barcodes came in to being and that it was that late, like
Yeah.
within our lifetime.
Yeah, they were invented in the 1950s and made the skip to commercial use in the 1970s and then started to become more commonly available at grocery stores in the 1980s. But yeah, there were a whole sector of people who just refused to buy barcoded items because they're like, that is the mark of the beast. Eventually, you're going to put that in people.
Amazing.
And yeah.
And now it's like every tattoo artist's least favorite request. I'm not even joking. Like tattooers, usually when someone comes in and is like, I want a barcode, man, they'll have like a standard thing that you can actually scan. It'll be for like lima beans or something. Like all tattoo artists have like their own in joke, basically, when someone comes in and wants this stupid fucking tattoo, this mark of the beast.
Oh my god. I
His
knew it
mark
was
of
gonna be.
unoriginality.
That is so incredible. I love it. So Bo believed that they would actually take a further step than just the barcode. And what he believed they would do is they would take a microchip, put a barcode on that, and then embed it into people, because that's how microchips work. It's a
Yep.
series of barcodes inside your computer.
That's what a QR code is, right? When I have to wave my phone at it to get a fucking menu.
Look, we all hate PR a ton. I kind of get what they're saying now if you bring up QR codes. The thing, though, is while Bo's campaign for president wasn't exactly lighting the nation on fire, he was about to get his name emblazoned on the national news completely out of nowhere. And to understand why, we need to talk a little bit about a couple by the name of Randy and Vicky Weaver. So Randy, just like Bo, had served in the US military as a Green Beret during the Vietnam War. Randy had grown up in an extremely Christian household, so much that his parents consistently moved from church to church, never being able to find a Christian faith that equaled their personal fervor.
Chasing that dragon.
I'm just trying to find an ultra Baptist church. Is that a thing? Are there
I
any
mean,
hyper Presbyterians?
do you have any 90% uncut Jesus?
Man, have you been to the church that never closes? It is fucking nuts. So after leaving the army, Randy would marry Vicky, and the two would settle down in Iowa. Randy found work at a factory, and Vicky worked as a secretary until their first child was born. And now, where things take a bit of a turn for the Weavers is when they both dive headfirst into Christian identity. And as a bit of a reminder for people, it's the idea, essentially, that all white people of Nordic descent or Romantic descent are the descendants of Abel and the true Jews, while all actual Jews and people of color are all descendants from Satan himself, the literal Satan himself. So Vicky in particular developed her own set of beliefs, which is something you always want to hear, and based them entirely on the Old Testament. And so essentially she took Leviticus very freaking seriously. So Vicky also began having recurring dreams of the family living on a mountain while the apocalypse raged around them. And the family took these repeated dreams as only one thing, a sign from God. And so they sold all their belongings, took some time to wean themselves off of electricity, and in 1983 moved to Boundary County, Idaho. And it's there that they would build a home in the middle of goddamn nowhere.
Wait, okay, so this couple, they either influenced or are the parents of the woman who wrote the book Education that came out a few years ago?
Possibly, I'd have to look into that.
Because one, for all listeners, it's a phenomenal book. But this woman talks about how she grew up in rural, mountainous Idaho with these extreme Christian apocalypse doomsayer, like totally off the grid. She never had a birth certificate made because like she basically did not exist to the US government. Manages to get herself to Brigham Young University. And while she's there, like I think talks back in one classroom regarding the Holocaust and is basically just being like, what's that? And
I remember this. Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. And the professor was just like, oh shit. Oh no. But basically it's like the book is phenomenal and such an amazing read, and also just like such a welcome reminder of the saving grace of education and learning for this way. And also, you know, it's heartbreaking too, because she's like, I had to leave everything I knew. Like I had to completely cut off with my parents because my worldview was involved the actual world now. But yeah, it was either that like her parents were influenced and part of Ricky and what's her name? Randy and Vicky's cult, for lack of a better word. Or Randy and Vicky were her parents, or something like that. Yeah.
So Boundary County, Idaho is a location that's right on the border of Canada, and at the time had a population of a little more than 7,000 people. And the region had become very popular for white supremacists keen on making their own militia-based compounds. The Weavers would name their new home after the mountain where they now lived, Ruby Ridge. Now, the Weavers have stated that they were not white supremacists, which is pretty rich considering the whole belief structure of Christian identity. But whether they were or not, they began hanging out with the various white supremacist militias that had made northern Idaho their home. The Weavers would claim that they were just being hospitable. And yeah, they were living alone on the side of a mountain, but that didn't mean they didn't want to have friends. And if militias are the only people there, it kind of limits your choices. But you're still hanging out with like armed racists.
The company you keep.
Move to another county full of nicer people, maybe. Like you can build a secluded home where there aren't white supremacists. Just saying.
Yeah, the point is secluded.
But that being said, I'm pretty sure Randy and Vicky did not mind the militia's beliefs at all. But either way, the Weavers would live a fairly secluded life for about a year. They'd live off the land, homeschool their kids, and Vicky would give birth in a shed out back because giving birth in a home is unclean and that God doesn't want that, so go to the birthing shed.
Oh my gosh.
It was her choice, Una, to go to the birthing shed.
Was it, Dusty?
From what I've been reading, yeah, she was like the matriarch of the family and the prophet of the family. So they're like, yeah, you do you, Vicky.
Well,
I mean,
I'm
it's
just
a
gonna
very it's a very misogynistic view of things, and I'm sure there were no complaints from the men.
I'm just gonna, imagine a very nice birthing shed with some aromatherapy and pillows.
Mhm. I
Let me
yep,
have this.
yep, that sounds right. In 1984, though, Randy would get into a land dispute with his neighbor over a $3,000 land deal. They would go to court and Randy would win, forcing the neighbor to pay Randy the 3 grand plus another 2 grand in court fees. The neighbor, accepting his loss with dignity and grace, immediately contacted the FBI, the Secret Service, and the county sheriff, claiming to them that Randy was planning to assassinate Pope John Paul II, Ronald Reagan, and Idaho Governor John V. Evans. And this would end up kicking off a really shitty series of events. So the following year, the FBI followed up on these threats and interviewed the Weavers directly. And of course, no charges were filed. Randy and Vicky then sent a letter to the county sheriff and to Ronald Reagan warning that they were pretty sure their neighbor might have forged letters of the Weavers threatening the president. And if he got any of these letters, please know that these are forgeries. And the FBI, being the even headed people that they are, took this as a direct threat against the president.
No, it was actually the opposite. It was truly the opposite.
In 1986, though, a whole other sector of the government would set their sights on Randy Weaver, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the ATF. See, it turns out Randy had met an ATF informant at the World Aryan Conference, a thing that white supremacists go to.
Oh,
But Randy would claim that he was just invited by a friend and went,
he was just holding this Aryan nation.
"Look, I'm just his ride. He's gonna get drunk. I want to make sure he gets home safe.
Just trying to be a good friend.
I don't disagree with anything you guys are saying. Just don't involve me."
Just let me listen.
So the ATF initially didn't have much interest in Weaver, but after 3 years, they realized that he knew enough of the white supremacists in the county that he might actually become one heck of an informant for them to be able to rope in. And lucky for the ATF, they already had enough to potentially flip Weaver to their side. For one, Randy had allegedly invited the ATF informant to his home to discuss forming a group to fight the quote, Zionist organized government, which, if you're not aware, a very anti Semitic phrase.
Yeah.
Which, and I will say too, I feel like that's something that they do in that county no matter what when they get drunk. It's probably on par to us getting drunk and being like, we should start a band, or hey, let's do a theater company. That we could do that.
Let's buy a house together and fix it up. Let's start a
Oh
commune.
my god, guys, let's just take over the government. We could do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, needing something a bit more than just hearsay, the informant asked to buy a pair of sawed-off shotguns to Weaver. So, tiny bit of gun fun here. A sawed-off shotgun is simply a shotgun that has had its long barrel sawed off much shorter, making the gun a lot more useful in enclosed areas. Because if you're in a tiny hallway and you're spinning with your shotgun, you're gonna hit a wall.
Yeah, and then that's not a good look.
You're just gonna look a fool. And the thing is, sawed-off shotguns aren't illegal, but if you own one, you have to pay a fee directly to the ATF to keep it. It's kind of a way to be able to limit the amount of guns that are out there, but it's also a really good way to raise $500 a piece for the ATF. And if you say, buy a normal shotgun, saw off the barrel, and then give it to someone under the table, you've gone and committed a crime right there.
Well, look at that. You
So
didn't pay the cool tax.
Yeah, you got to pay the cool gun tax for cool kids.
For this gun that now looks cool because you sawed off part of the barrel. You get to say things like,
We could totally do a gun rights podcast, I think, at this rate.
I think you're right.
These guns are only for cool kids.
If we ever need to take a break from third-party candidates.
So the ATF immediately let Randy know that, hey, we're going to arrest you for cool crimes. But you know what, Randy? You could avoid all this jail time if you just became an informant for us and got all these Aryan Nation fuckers in jail. To which Randy said, I'm no snitch, and walked away. Now, here's where things start to get really fucky with the ATF. Towards the end of 1990, Randy Weaver would be officially indicted on charges of making and possessing illegal guns. However, to get that indictment, the ATF claimed that Randy was a bank robber with a history of criminal convictions, both of which were complete and total fucking lies. And really, you kind of didn't need to add that on, because he gave the gun to the ATF agent. You have all the evidence you need. But they severely wanted this indictment to get their please be a snitch revenge, and ended up getting him charged. So Randy would be served with his charges, arrested, released on bail, and informed of his court date. Kind of. Because you see, Randy's court date not only changed, but he was informed of the wrong date at least twice. And that kind of didn't matter because Randy's public defender was never able to get a hold of him. And Randy, however, viewed the ever-changing court dates that he would get in the mail as a sign of a conspiracy against him, that the government was purposely giving him repeatedly wrong information so that no matter what, he would be found guilty of something. And so when his court date came by, Randy didn't show up. And now Randy was a fugitive of the law for failing to report to court. And now the U.S. Marshals got involved.
God damn it, Randy.
For the next year, the U.S. Marshals negotiated with Randy to try to get him to leave his cabin. One negotiating tactic was telling Randy that if he didn't come out, he would lose his land and his wife would be left houseless. And it didn't take long after that for Randy to add the Marshals to his list of government people he did not trust.
Yeah.
And by 1992, the Weavers were still at their cabin. It was essentially Randy, his wife Vicky, and their 4 kids. And the standoff by that point had gained national attention. So much so that on April of 1992, Geraldo Rivera rented a helicopter and chose to do an episode of his own show right above the Weaver property. And out of nowhere, Geraldo Rivera started saying that he'd been shot at in his helicopter. And guess what? Didn't happen.
Did not. And you wonder how we got to today's media landscape.
On August 21st, a group of 6 U.S. Marshals were sent onto Weaver's land to scout out the best location where they could possibly go onto the property and arrest Randy. One of the Marshals tossed a pair of rocks to test the reaction of Weaver's dogs, and he ended up getting the attention of their golden lab by the name of Stryker. So Stryker sets off towards the Marshals, followed by family friend Kevin Harris and Randy's 14-year-old son, Sammy. Kevin, Sammy, and Stryker would shortly come upon the Marshals, and the Marshals then fatally shot their dog.
Oh.
Sammy fired back, and the Marshals then killed Sammy.
Oh my God.
Kevin Harris returned fire, killing one of the U.S. Marshals, and a complete and total firefight ensued. Kevin was able to get away. At one point, Randy was there, but was not firing any weapons at them at all, and it just turned tail to get back to the house as quickly as possible. The very next day, the U.S. Marshals were joined by the FBI and the Idaho State Police. The FBI drew up 4 rules of engagement that boiled down to a shoot-to-kill order for any adults that weren't actively surrendering or were too close to the 3 remaining Weaver children. But if the children were armed, then the children could be killed as well.
God damn.
So when Randy Weaver, Kevin Harris, and Randy's oldest daughter, Sarah, went out to the shed to visit Sammy's dead body, an FBI sniper opened fire on Randy, hitting him in the upper back. The sniper would later note that he had aimed for Randy's spine, but Randy moved at the last second. The 3 ran back to the cabin, and just as Kevin was opening the door, the sniper shot him in the chest. The bullet exited Kevin, went through the front door, and fatally struck a Vicky Weaver on the other side. And she was holding their 10-month-old daughter at the time.
Ha!
And in just 2 days, a peaceful standoff had turned fatal, and the whole militia movement was incensed. And it also didn't help that some people in the FBI were already seeing this for what it was, a tragic and easily avoidable fuck-up. FBI Deputy Assistant Director Danny Colson would write a memo only 4 days after the siege had began that simply said the following: "Something to consider. Charge against Weaver is bullshit. No one saw Weaver do any shooting. Vicky has no charges against her, and at this point, he had no clue that Vicky Weaver had been killed." Weaver's defense? He ran down the hill to see what dog was barking at. Some guys in camis shot his dog, started shooting at him, killed his son. Harris did the shooting. He is in pretty strong legal position. But the FBI weren't going to back down. And unaware that they had killed Vicky Weaver or the extent of Randy and Kevin Harris's injuries, the FBI attempted for days to negotiate a surrender, and each time they would be met with complete silence. At one point, the FBI actually started calling for Vicky Weaver to negotiate with them, completely unaware that she was dead.
Ooh.
And it wouldn't be until April 29th, a week after Sammy and Vicky were killed, that Randy would agree to a new negotiator, Bo Gritz. So the FBI would directly invite Bo to try and settle the situation. And upon his arrival, Bo was met with a cheer from the various militiamen, white nationalists, and anti-Semite folks who had surrounded the police that had surrounded Randy. Bo then set about doing a series of mock citizen arrests for the leading FBI agents on site. Because, you got to do a little theater ahead of time. Yeah, some people are dead, but I gotta rattle up the audience.
Yeah, zhuzh it up.
Look, you can't just go in there and start negotiating. You got to give people a show.
Razzle dazzle them. Make this a Chicago production.
Oh my God. Now, it's not super clear what Bo said to the Weavers, but he proved to be the best man for the job. The next day, Kevin Harris would surrender and immediately be flown to a hospital. Bo also aided in removing Vicky's body from the cabin, promising to oversee that her body was treated respectfully. And the day after that, Bo returned to negotiate with the remaining family. But prior to entering, he was told by the FBI that if he can't get them to surrender within a set time frame, that they would assault the cabin and take them out by force. Gritz then entered the cabin, and that very same day was able to get Randy and his daughters to surrender. Upon exiting the cabin, the national media would take notice of what kind of seemed like a Nazi salute that Bo had directed towards a number of skinheads following the surrender of the Weavers. However, Bo makes it very clear that he wasn't giving a Nazi salute in probably the worst way possible.
Oh, no.
Quote, "If I wanted to give a Nazi salute, I certainly would know how to give it, and I wouldn't have given it in a fashion that any good Nazi would have been proud of." So clearly he didn't give a Nazi salute because it was questioned whether he did.
I love that his argument is like, oh, you'll know when I give a Nazi salute.
Bo Gritz doesn't have it. It's a fucking Nazi salute, you cowards.
Yeah, there'll be.
I will not have my name slandered.
Yeah, I'm giving a Nazi salute, and maybe I am. You'll know. You'll fucking know.
So Harris and Weaver would both recover from their injuries and both be charged with a fuck ton of crimes. And also, both would be acquitted of nearly all of them. Randy was found guilty of violating bail conditions and missing his initial court date, but that was it. The US government would settle out of court and pay the Weavers $3.3 million for the murder of Vicky, $300,000 going to Randy, and $1 million going to the surviving daughters. And worst of all, Ruby Ridge would kick off a whole revenge plot created by Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols, which would culminate in the Oklahoma City bombing in 1995 that killed 168 people. And while people would rightfully praise Bo for bringing the siege to a more peaceful end than expected, it also kind of hurt him in the more right-wing white nationalist crowds, who now viewed Bo as a pawn for the government. To this, Bo says, quote, "They wanted Randall Weaver dead. They would have had their martyr. The media was mad. They wanted the Weavers up there in that little clapboard cabin as nothing but charred bones. That would have made a wonderful story. And the truth is, a number of Weaver's neighbors were mad because they hated Weaver for whatever reason. A lot of people were mad because Weaver came out of there alive, and it just happened to be my misfortune that I got the Weaver family out alive with no more bloodshed. So, towards the end of the campaign, Bo claimed to sue all of the major networks for $100 million because they refused to give or sell him airtime. I know that's a huge shift in tone, but it's where we are. So Bo Gritz is on the national news every single fucking day for a week, negotiating the standoff at Ruby Ridge,
Yeah.
and he is suing every national network because they will not sell him time. Which I don't believe that for a fucking second. I think he just could not afford time, which that's a whole issue unto itself.
Yes, 100%. Yep.
And
Such is
also,
the
if
world we live in.
if each state has their own person running the campaign, then that's kind of up to each person in each state to be able to reach out to the local channels to be able to buy time. And if there's no national plan, that's not going to fucking happen, Bo.
Yeah.
So I was able to find a prepared infomercial on YouTube that the Gritz campaign had made, and sadly, it doesn't really make for compelling TV or debate. The whole thing feels like a mid-90s email forward brought to life. A good drinking game for the Bo Gritz infomercial. Drink every time Bo says Republicrats. It's a bunch.
You will be drunk.
Apparently, he was also a huge fan of the word sheeple, which gives me 90s political cliche bingo.
Yes. Oh, that's such a delightful word.
It makes me so mad. Like we all love a good portmanteau, but we could have done without that one.
I just love the phrase "wake up, sheeple." It's like, well, I can't because I
Look,
keep
anytime I
thinking
hear
about
"wake up, sheeple," that's a good sign that you need to leave the room and go.
Yeah, that's when you know the debate is over.
Oh man, I was going to get high with all of you, but no, I'm going home now.
Thank you. I needed an out from this failure of a party.
I appreciate the burned System of a Down album. I hope it works. And if it doesn't, I am not coming back. So in the end, Bo's negotiation skill at Ruby Ridge wouldn't be enough for him to gain any nationwide traction. And it also didn't help that Bo wasn't able to get onto the ballot in that many states. But in the end, Bo would give the Populist Party their best results yet, doubling the vote totals of David Duke in 1988, and he ended up finishing 5th overall with 0.1% of the vote. And in the wake of the election, at least according to the San Diego Reader, a lot of Bo's supporters felt disenchanted at best and full-on scammed at worst. So Bo's campaign chairwoman in Colorado was a woman by the name of Debbie Kidd, and she seems to have the lion's share of the tea to spill on the whole fucking thing. So first, the campaign seemed to be just completely fuck stupid when it came to money. According to Kidd, quote, I encouraged the national chairman in Florida to qualify for federal funding. He maintains right up until the end that they never collected enough money to qualify for matching federal funds. Gritz collected $300,000 in his Nevada office alone, and you only need $200,000 to qualify for federal matching funds. They just never did it.
Oh boy.
Second, that media blackout that Bo was maybe suing everyone about, turns out it was at least partially self-inflicted. So once again, according to Kidd, Bo was scheduled as a guest on Larry King Live less than 1 week from the election day. Now, for those of you who don't know, Larry King used to be a huge fucking deal.
The biggest deal.
The show was the most popular on CNN at the time and was 1 year out from its record-breaking viewership of 11 million people. Now, a positive interview there could make all the difference. So what Bo did was he canceled at the last minute and went to give a speech at Willis Carto's Liberty Lobby to an audience of 50 people. A speech that was not recorded and was not broadcast.
The Four Seasons landscaping of its time.
I think I know why. I think I know why he did it.
Fear of success.
Look, you live your life being a fuck up for so long, it just ends up becoming your victory. It just becomes the normal. What I think happened, Devi explains the best here. So Devi's full theory is that she thinks it's just been a grift all along. Quote, when he came here last August, he stood both nights at his speeches and told everybody, I won't go away. If you support me, whether I win this election or not, I won't go away. I'll be at the forefront of the Patriot movement. I will always be here for you. Come November 4th, the son of a bitch evaporated out of the Patriot movement. I saw him, his wife, and a guy named Richard Flowers at the Salt Palace on November 6th. Richard Flowers is an active Nazi, and he's one of Bo Gritz's better friends. What Bo Gritz does now is hawk his book in survival literature. Instead of getting in the face of Congress, he tells people how to go and hide and store food, which is why I think he completely skipped Larry King, is that he knew the grift was coming to an end, and he's going to get more out of those 50 people at the Liberty Lobby than he's going to get out of the, say, 10 million people watching Larry King, which is still wrong.
It's still wrong, but maybe it's a little bit once bitten, twice shy. Like he remembers how well his time in front of Congress when he was coming back from Laos was.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah,
it's like, oh, Larry King will have questions for me, whereas these 55 people won't be allowed to, and I can just leave.
That's a really good point. Oh my god.
Yes.
If only we had that Larry King interview. You're right. That would have been hilarious.
It would have been amazing.
Bo, tell me about the time you brought a bunch of pig bones back. Tell me about that. Man, I know I'm sitting in front of you, but the connection here is not working.
I'm frozen. This isn't Zoom. Zoom won't be created for another 2 decades.
Oh, we've told you 1,000 times here on Larry King, stop predicting Zoom. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what Bo did after his failed run for president. He left the arena of politics, despite kind of floating the idea that he might run for governor of Idaho in 1994, despite the fact that he did not live there, and even noted to himself in the interview that people are going to call him a carpetbagger if he does this. And Bo began teaching classes via videotape. He called his courses Spike, or specifically prepared individuals for key events.
Oh no, it's an acronym.
Oh, of course it is. Only the best acronym. And as all good
Oh,
acronyms are, it clearly says what it is, right, Una?
oh, I've forgotten half the words already because there were more than two.
That's fair. Specially prepared individuals for key events.
Ooh.
So essentially, they were a 10 tape set to teach people how to fight the New World Order and how to be as prepared as the US Special Forces. Now, Bo did say it would probably take people about 3 years before they'd be able to master his tapes, but if you watched him practice enough, then you could kick Bill Clinton's UN World Order the crap out of this country.
Nothing screams you're gonna be a 00 agent quite like 10 VHS tapes.
7 hours of footage will teach you how to be the country's best badass. And I hate to say it, Una, I was only able to find 4 minutes of it. So,
Still.
just like you, I am completely doomed. And it was just the introduction. I learned nothing.
Ah,
I learned what I could become, and I got sad.
the thing is, I can't even hate on like VHS learn your way to fight New World Order because I just feel like everything is now online videos. And so
Yeah.
it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, you were a little bit ahead of the curve.
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty good grifting.
What I mean, honestly, what is this but a masterclass ahead of its time?
Oh my God.
And frankly, where is my masterclass on being an international spy agent?
That would be incredible. Oh my God, I would actually subscribe to that. But during the campaign, Bo did find the one thing that he had actually succeeded in since leaving the military: high stakes negotiation.
Yeah.
So when
And
the
see,
Branch
what do
Davidians
you
in Waco were under siege from the FBI and ATF, Bo made his way down there to try and remedy the situation just like he had done at Ruby Ridge. However, Bo wasn't able to end the siege, and after 51 days, the FBI raided the compound. The Branch Davidians lit 3 fires in their building, and 76 members died. And Bo viewed this as a government-sanctioned Holocaust, and that is a quote. And yeah, the FBI and ATF fucked up quite a bit at Waco, but David Koresh was never going to end the siege in any manner close to peaceful. And the thing is, this event would lead Bo into his newest life, founding a community safe from the US government. In 1993, he founded a community near Kamaya, Idaho, that he dubbed Almost Heaven. And most of what we know about Almost Heaven comes from one of my favorite shows ever, Louis Theroux's Weird Weekends. So Louis Theroux is a BBC journalist. He does a lot of sort of weird hour-long things where he talks to conspiracy theorists and people living on the fringes of society and things like that. And season 1, episode 4 in 1998 focused specifically on the survivalist movement. Now, at the 5-minute mark, Louis travels to Almost Heaven to meet Bo. And when Louis asks why he founded Almost Heaven, Bo goes in depth about all the people he met across the country when he was running for president. And these people were both scared and, in his own words, paranoid of the government. He repeatedly says that people are paranoid of the government over and over and over again. So Bo, he went to FEMA, an organization that is about as big of a boogeyman in the conspiracy circles as the UN itself, and he got a list of all the places where natural disasters are most likely to exist in America. He and Louis then put out a huge map of America and spend what I think to be about 30 minutes crossing out all the most dangerous places in America. They cross out Florida because of hurricanes. They cross out the whole Midwest because of tornadoes. They cross out Portland because it's too close to Mount Hood. And eventually, the whole map is covered, except for one little spot in Idaho and Lewis counties, which just so happens to be the location of Bo's community, Almost Heaven. What are the odds of that?
What a coinkydink.
Now, the only rule to living in Almost Heaven is that you must agree to a constitutional covenant. And by that I mean you have to agree to defend your neighbors and their constitutional rights. If you agree to do that, then you can move to Almost Heaven. So Bo also stressed that they are not a militia community. But he does state that out of the 60 or so families living there, there are 3 noodles that believe war with the government is inevitable and have a plan to fight it. Now, this is probably one of my favorite words that Bo loves to use. When he says noodles, he is referring to people that he deems to be too extreme.
That he deems too extreme.
Correct.
Oh boy.
When he was running for president, he referred to a group of people who supported him as a whole pot of noodles.
I do love this turn of phrase. This is adorable.
It's probably the least offensive thing he's ever said.
Yeah. And it's like an attempt to not be offensive as well.
Yeah, it's like I feel like he feels like it's very descriptive and he's not trying to be kind about it. It's just the word he's always known for these people. So in a bit of fun, Louis asks Bo, like, well, what would happen if I went to interview these people? And Bo says, well, they'd probably pull out their guns and tell you to leave their property immediately. And then Louis asks for directions.
Yeah. Louis is a journalist.
And so Louis goes out there and he ends up finding 2 guys who are laying insulation for a new home. And they end up pulling out a super cordial conversation.
Oh.
He meets a guy by the name of Mike. Mike describes himself as an old hippie, a current sovereign citizen, and, quote, living the happiest he has ever lived in his entire life.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, he lives there with his wife Cha Cha and their oldest daughter and youngest son.
Oh,
They end up inviting Louis over for dinner out of nowhere. They let him spend the night.
this is adorable.
They Louis ends up helping out the farm chores for the day. He helps chop wood. They go on a little jaunt into the local hardware store to buy some stuff and have a little political discourse with the roller skating champion owner of the hardware store, who also has some weird Jewish opinions,
Oh,
which Mike
there it is.
disagrees with.
Oh,
And yeah, it's just he seems like a very kind dude who just doesn't want to have a driver's license and just wants to be left the fuck alone. And a lot of why Bo didn't like him probably actually had to do with his sovereign citizen leanings, because that seems to be the one thing that Bo cannot fucking stand. Because in 1996, Bo would attempt one more time to be a heroic peace negotiator. This time, Bo would be around his own ideological brethren, the Christian identity Montana Freemen. The Montana Freemen had entered into a standoff with the FBI due to a number of their properties being foreclosed upon and for making extremely convincing counterfeit checks. And as the standoff went on, Bo went to go to try to negotiate a suitable peace. However, as Bo states, he grew frustrated by the sovereign citizen, quote, legal mumbo jumbo. Now, Una, are you familiar with sovereign citizen legal theory?
no, but is this something that's going to make me think of like people who copy and paste statements on Facebook that will somehow protect their photos?
That's a part of it.
Okay.
But all right, let's say you're in a car and you're going to the store, but you don't have a driver's license and you get pulled over for speeding.
Mhm.
And officer has to see your driver's license. How would you respond to that?
I'm so sorry. I don't have my driver's license on me. I was just making a quick stop to the store and I'll take the citation now.
You see, Una, this is why you're going to jail. Because if you were a sovereign citizen, what you would say is, I don't have a driver's license because I'm not driving. I'm traveling. So a lot of their theory is based off of the Articles of the Confederacy. And so the Articles of the Confederacy describe what we call driving as traveling because they used buggies and didn't have combustion engines yet. And so based on this, they don't need to have a driver's license.
Boo.
Another kind of fun one they do is if they go into a court and the American flag has fringe on it, then they say that is an admiralty flag. And since they are not being charged with any sort of Navy or Marine crime, then the court is unofficial and cannot charge them with an official crime or find them
I,
guilty.
I hate this from a linguistic standpoint, like in my heart. So much. This is like when I tell my dad I'm done with something and he's like, only food can be done. You're finished.
God damn it. God damn it, Mr. O'Leary. Don't sovereign citizen food.
It's
So Bo would leave and the standoff continued. However, this time the FBI had learned from their mistakes at Ruby Ridge and Waco, and after 81 days, the Montana Freemen surrendered. By 1998, Bo's time in the spotlight had pretty much all but faded. He would lead a failed search to find Olympic Park bomber Eric Rudolph, once again to try to negotiate a peaceful surrender, but wasn't able to do that because he couldn't find him. Mainly because Eric Rudolph, the reason we couldn't find him is he was an extraordinarily skilled survivalist and very good at hiding in the woods.
he needs to be making the videotapes.
Oh my god. No, he doesn't. Because the other Eric Rudolph also had a huge hand in bombing a fuck ton of abortion clinics.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Eric
No,
Rudolph was
no.
a goddamn lunatic.
I take it back.
In 1999 would probably be Bo's lowest point, because this is when he would be found on the side of the road with a self-inflicted bullet wound. However, Bo would recover, and it turns out that Bo's third wife had filed for divorce, and Bo openly stated to the press that he didn't know how to continue on without her, so he tried to take his own life. And later that year, Bo remarried his fourth wife, Judy Kirsch, who was not 16. She was a full-grown woman.
Hey.
So you're doing it. You did it. But not only that, but he also joined Judy's church, the Church of Israel. Now, the church is an offshoot of the Mormon faith, which had technically kicked Bo out of the church for not adhering to certain specific rules.
And getting all Christian identity on them.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to marry the two. But the thing was, the Church of Israel had married the two. They took Mormonism and Christian identity and made it a church in 1972. And so, fun fact, another prominent member of the Church of Israel is the guy who's currently the national director for the KKK.
Oh boy.
So I don't think you can make the "I'm not a racist anymore" arguments, Bo. I think you're
No.
done. And just to make things even more fun, they're also anti-vax and they're sovereign citizens.
Oh god. How many more? How many more things can they be? This is so terrible.
It is at this point Bo has no more lines to cross. He has he is everything terrible. In 2003, Bo would write his third book, My Brother's Keeper. And as much as I would like to talk about it, it's essentially just an extended version of his second book that just adds in all of his negotiation times and stories. And since then, he really hasn't been in the news at all. There was a time in 2005 where he tried to break into Terry Schiavo's hospice, but he wouldn't be able to get anywhere close to her. And since then, Bo now lives on an abandoned airfield with his fourth wife in Sandy Valley, Nevada, spending their days riding their motorcycle, walking the runway at night, and flying their Cessna whenever they have a suitable appointment. Whenever it's something that's far enough away that you should use an airplane, but not too far that you'll run out of gas.
It was a Cessna?
Yep, man has his own plane and knows how to fly it. It seems Bo left Almost Heaven sometime around 2000. You can still buy property in the area, and it's still called Almost Heaven, but the community that had been created is now pretty much completely abandoned. To fill his time, Bo runs his own online radio show called Freedom Call, named after Freedom Call 90, and it broadcasts every Friday still to this day. And the website that hosts his radio show also has the entirety of his spike training for sale. And Una, it's available for download, supposedly because I cannot find a link to purchase it. But if you email them, you can purchase a 128 gig flash drive of all of the classes.
Oh my God, it'll come on a flash drive. This is amazing.
It might explode your computer. Part one is technically free, but it leads you to a Google Drive, and I don't want to risk my computer. I can't leave it alone in a coffee shop, let alone try and download part one of Bo Gritz's fight documentary.
You just know inside it's going to be a thumb drive, but if you open it up, it's just a microchip and a barcode on top of it.
Antichrist, you did it again. And Una, that is the story of Bo Gritz.
Oh,
Man is still alive, still just having the worst opinions.
that was a ride. I also just want to mention, because I got onto Google Maps to try to look up Almost Heaven.
Oh God, yeah. You can go. There are plots of land available on Zillow if you want.
Well, it doesn't pop up, but there is a city just south of the Canadian border called Good Grief.
Oh my God.
Which I like to think of is created in response to Almost Heaven.
That would be amazing. I mean, honestly, there are so many really weird sort of militia towns that got built at the time, some of which ended up being full on grift, some of them not so much. They were like genuine attempts to make a town for terrible people. And just the names that they came up with, there was like Almost Heaven, there's Almost Home. There was one that was going to be a libertarian militia place that was just called the Citadel, that ended up being a money grift and never got built, but it was going to have literal castle walls around the whole fucking town.
But yeah, so many things. One, I wish we had the licensing right to make our outro Almost Heaven pedicure.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Well, on that note, I think we should call it a day. I'm gonna go and write my Bo Gritz script that I won't be able to publish until he's dead, because otherwise I'll probably
we are
get
onto
sued.
We
Look,
are definitely onto something.
I'm very excited about this, and once again, if it's said on a podcast, it's copywritten.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, I hope you had a fun time with this Bo Gritz saga. I'm really glad it wasn't a full month of Bo Gritz, because I might have lost my goddamn mind. But also, it's just a bit of a heads up, since we're heading into the Christmas season, we are going to be taking a break during Christmas to, I mean, not really spend time with family, to just, sit in silence in a room.
Present.
Just making hot chocolate and staring into the void. Christmas things.
Thinking about how we would run our presidential campaign.
Oh my God, don't even get me started on that. We should start a theater company. We should run for Congress.
We should be a third party.
On that note, I think we need to call it quits before the FEC says we can't have our show, because we're officially running for something. Either which way, thank you all for joining us here on Gadfly. Gadfly is a production of Added Serotonin. Our episodes are edited by Brianna Valentine of Rem Alternus Productions. Our theme song is Sophomore Makeout by Silent Partner, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at GadflyPod.